And a new style England team. No Gary Connolly or Martin O'Fire, both out with illness and injury, but more than adequate replacements in 19 years old Chris Radlinski makes his debut. Barely 30 games for Wigan, and the powerful Halifax wing John Bentley included, and a lot of responsibility I think on Darryl Powell. He needs to contain the attack flair of Aussie skipper Brad Fittler. Australia retain the bulk of the side that beat New Zealand by 3-0 in the summer. Jeff Tuvey declared fit after a shoulder injury sustained in training, and he'll be directing operations in midfield, along with, I think, Sydney Bulldogs loose forward star Jim Dimmock. And look out for wing John Hopewati. He makes his debut, 20 tries in the Winfield Cup this year. And look out for exciting teenager Simon Horton. He'll come off the bench. I think his speed might surprise the Kangaroos. Harrigan, Johns and O'Davis, all coached by Mal Reilly, Newcastle Knights. And away we go with Rod Wishart. A long, high kick, well picked up by Darryl Powell. Oh, and that looked a little high. So says referee Cummings, but it's England in the new style jersey, the all-white with the red cross. Dennis Betts. Andy Farrell, one of the big successes this season, just 20 years of age, but already Wembley second home to him. And losing the ball. Sean Edwards was saying this week, Steve, you cannot lose the ball against Australia. They keep it for so long.
They will. They'll try to control the ball now, Australia. Andy Platt, first touch of the ball, and he's come up with a mistake, and that's not what England wanted.
And Richard Duckyfield down there at the pitch level, the weather conditions?
Yes, Ray, it's just started to rain. It's raining quite steadily now, so it'll be interesting to see how this affects the handling of the two sides. Talking to the players from both teams before the game, the Australians looked a little bit more relaxed, but maybe that's just their laconic style.
David Gillespie, the Manly prop forward, experienced campaigner, and Fittler there pushing that kick through, testing Radlinski early on. Oh, he did well there, did well to trap that ball. Very wet conditions underfoot, Joe.
Yes, very greasy conditions as well. Chris Radlinski there at full-back, debutant, and that early touch will do him a lot of good, a lot of confidence.
Phil Clark into the action early on, had a spell with the Sydney City Roosters, and Jason Robinson there, that distinctive style of Robinson, likes to come in midfield, likes to come off the wing. Australia's defence around the rucks as keen as ever. Andy Farrell making room for himself and getting a good kick in. Former Oral St James amateur. Well, a lot of confidence has been put in this skipper Brad Fittler. And there we see the difference. England bigger, heavier, and that was deliberate policy, I think, from the Aussie coach. I was speaking to Bobby Fulton earlier in the week, and he said, Steve, that he'd actually slimmed down this Australian pack for a faster game.
Yeah, well, the game's got fast now, especially in Australia, and it's getting that way in England also now. And all those players have to be quick up and down off the ground, and the less body weight, body fat they have on them, the quicker they can do that.
Mr. Cummings judging England to be offside. Australia, of course, the world champions, won the World Cup here at Wembley, 10-6 in '92. Tim Brasher to put to touch. But of course, Australia rarely playing against England, normally Great Britain, but England and Wales divided for this 10-nation tournament, as they did in the 1975 World Cup. Australia then in possession, in the green and gold. Jeff Tuvey to Gillespie, known as Cement down under for the hardness of his tackles. And Australia using the pack. Dean Pay in the grand final down under with the Sydney Bulldogs. Tuvey. Oh, well passed on out there. Rod Wishart. Strong, powerful lad. The Illawarra Steelers. Australia mounting the attack. Tuvey again to Fittler. Looks for support inside. Puts it out to Hill. Dimmock. Fittler, that's a good pass, but that's a good tackle from Dennis Betts, and the ball's gone loose. The handover.
Dennis Betts did very, very well then. Saw that the wide ball was out on the last tackle. A long pass from Fittler, and Dennis Betts had the man covered.
England sensibly just holding this ball in the forwards. They've already dropped it once. Andy Platts, again another former Wigan forward who has had a season with the Auckland Warriors. Sean Edwards. A nice flighted kick that. Oh, that's put real pressure on Australia. Superb kick there from Sean Edwards. 36 caps for Great Britain, 10 years as a professional. And just look at this kick, Joe.
It was a good kick from Sean. I think England today will be using both Sean Edwards and Andrew Farrell in the kicking departments. I'm sure the Australians have been rehearsing, ready for Sean's kicks, but Andrew Farrell as well can kick a long ball, and I'm sure he'll be used to great effect today.
Tuvey, tiny, diminutive Aussie scrum half, but let no one be fooled, he certainly can tackle. Fittler with a nice adventurous long pass there, trying to launch Terry Hill. The Australian speed of the play of the ball is one aspect which is often disconcerting to both sides, but Sean Edwards again reading the position. Australia using this blind side. Very often you can catch a team napping on the blind side. One or two forwards often having a breather. To Dean Payne. Fittler again. And another good kick from Fittler. Brad Fittler, 23 years of age. Both sides using the kicking game then, Steve.
Yeah, you'll see Brad Fittler here. He had a lot of time to kick that ball. There wasn't a lot of pressure put on him, and he's found just right near the corner flag there. The scrum will come out 10 metres, and both teams have shown their hand early that they'll just use the ball up, make the opposition defend, and then put a big kick downfield.
That's good play from England, but that's a good defence from Menzies and Dimmock. Barry John Mather, utility player, has played extensively in the second row, but here a centre, Andy Platt. This Great Britain pack not meeting any joy down the middle, Joe.
No, I'm sure they'll have rehearsed bringing the ball out of their own danger area, their own 20-metre line, several times, and then get ready for this kick. Here's Andrew Farrell now to put it long.
Testing Opoati. Actually qualified to play for Tonga, this lad, but much to Tongan coach Mike McLennan's dismay, opted for Australia. Carroll made his debut against France 5 years ago. And Jim Dimmock. But it's Australia making ground, and Tuvey sending these big forwards now. Then Menzies on the outside. You have to watch this lad. 22 tries down under this year, top of the try-scoring list. Oh, that was a clever kick. That was a clever kick. And Fittler there feigned to be going to the left, pushed the kick to the right, but his teammates didn't quite anticipate it. Well left by Redlinski. Andy Farrell. Australian defence very, very flat to us.
It is. I noticed before they're probably a little bit rusty, Australia, because a lot of these players haven't played for a long time, and they certainly haven't played together. and they seem a little bit rusty whether they're supposed to be left side or right side.
Oh, there's a chance here for Barry John Mather. Now then, long striding, 6'5", but that's a tremendous tackle. Tremendous tackle from Brescia. Barry John Mather just couldn't make it to the line, nor could he see the support coming inside. But the first chance was there for England. Chances don't matter though, I'm afraid. It's when that ball goes over the line that counts. But a superb break here.
It was a great chance. It was a ball off Phil Clark that put BJ Mather away, Boris John Mather. But Sean Edwards was screaming for the ball inside him.
It's just what I was saying, that they are a little bit rusty with who should be wearing their defensive line, Australia, and it showed there with England going down their right-hand side.
Yeah, I think we should explain possibly, Steve, for some of the viewers, that the Australian season for most of the clubs finishes round about September.
Early September for some clubs, and unless the teams that were in the grand final, some of these players haven't played for quite a while.
But no one doubts the fitness. Wayne Bartram, the man who made his name in the tests against New Zealand. A little bit of a flare up there, nothing too serious. I think Wayne Bartram objected to the high tackle. Yes, no doubt about it, it was. And rightly penalised Dennis Betts.
You can hear Stuart Cummings, since the game started, been telling all the players before they make tackles to keep their tackles down, keep them low. He's had a good game, Stuart Cummings. He's talking to all of them, he's talking to the players by name, and he's getting a good rapport with them with both teams out there, and he's also letting the game flow, which is good.
And what I like about him, he's just told Brad Fittler, I don't want you telling me what to do, I'll referee this game. And I think that's fair enough.
He's in charge out there, he's the boss.
Australia then. Gillespie, that's a good tackle. Fittler and Tuvik commanding operations here in midfield. These are the two players that England have got to pick up. Dean Pay, one of the successes on the Kangaroo Tour of Britain and France last season. Fittler. Again, good defence there from Phil Clark on the fifth tackle. And not the best of kicks, but because he was pressured, and he was pressured by good defence from Phil Clark, Joe.
It was a little bit unorganised from the Australians there. They usually used Fittler on the kicking game, especially on the last tackle. That time the ball went straight into touch, and it's a turnover to England.
Still very tense, very tough. The two sets of forwards still testing each other out. The gaps not just appearing.
There's been one gap, Ray, when Barry John Mather went down that right-hand side, and I feel that it's 4 points that England should have had.
Interference at the play of the ball, holding the Englishman down.
The referee said, I can't tell you any more. He's told them enough and he's penalised them.
Australia only with 3 wins against England out of 11 matches between the two countries, but of course, as I said, more accustomed to playing Great Britain. Darryl Powell now trying to launch Paul Newlove down that left-hand side. Newlove, the big Bradford centre, and Lee Jackson going away. International Player of the Year last season, Jackson. He'll join 1 or 2 of these Australian players at Newcastle Knights next season. Edwards, good switch, and a better switch to Radlinski. Nice to see the young 19-year-old coming up so early in the game. England on the attack. Darryl Powell. Oh, it was for fumble. You might just see that. Rod Wishart on the fingertips. Did he fumble it or did he not?
Darryl Powell puts the ball through along the floor. Wishart, yes, the first touch with his right hand, just pushed the ball forward along the floor.
And Richard, I believe you got Andy Goodway with you.
Yes, great British assistant coach Andy Goodway. That was a chance missed by John Mather, really, wasn't it, Andy?
Yeah, he just took the wrong option at the wrong time, but you know, we're doing okay. It's even Stevens at the minute. We've just got to stay calm and wait for the chances to come, because I'm sure they will.
Andy Platt all right, and that's just spray his wrist?
No, it was just some sticky stuff on his hands, because he feels that it's a little bit wet out there, so he just wants to make sure he doesn't drop it again.
Thanks, Andy.
Andy Platt putting sticky stuff on his hands reminds me of the former forward Alan Prescott, who always used to daub that resin on the front of his jersey. John Edwards then launching the attack down the side. Good short pass. Oh, Carl Harrison couldn't hold it. With a knock on. Well, I think that was one pass too many from England. Perhaps this pass shouldn't have come back to Carl Harrison. He was under difficulties when it came his way. A chance gone begging, Steve.
Well, there was. England really didn't need to push the ball on the tackle. They still had another two to go, another tackle to go, and they didn't have any numbers in their attacking line over the defence, so they should have just held on to it for another tackle.
Very much revamped Kangaroo squad, this one. Only 9 players in the 25-man World Cup squad who toured here last season, but of course Australia, great depth. One there who's really come to prominence. Steve Menzies, number 11 in the Manly club. Dean Payne rides the tackle, can't get the pass away. But this is good defence from England so far. They've got to contain Australia in this opening quarter. Wadlinski has a fair turn of speed, this 19-year-old. Was a wingman and a centre, only 5 games at fullback. John Bentley, one of the bigger wingmen in the game, can come inside. Andy Farrell. Phil Clark was saying that he wanted Farrell to be running out wide. Betts. And that just shows how level things are, Steve.
Well, it's the graph there shows that Irvin Stevens in the scoreboard does also.
England players must, of course, allow Brasher 10 metres to pick that ball up. They can move in when he runs. Hopewati.
They seem to be very unorganised at the moment, Australia. With the football, they're all in little bunches behind the play-the-ball area there. There's no line to attack. They just seem to be content to run one out all the time.
Well, there is one man who can cause problems. Mark Coyne, the St George captain, renowned sidestepper. Not a lot of rugby this season, as Steve said. He suffered a broken thumb. Tuvey saw a chink of light, look for the gap. Back to Mark Carroll. Carroll to Fickler. This is good movement now from Barton to Payne. Then all that looks slightly forward to Brescia. He beats Radlinski. Back to Coyne. Intercepted by Barry John Mather, but lost again. Oh, England just couldn't hold that ball. A series of errors. I must confess, I thought the pass to Brescia looked slightly forward. Mark
Coyne's pushed the pass there. Barry John Mather's done well to intercept, and then a great tackle from Jeff Tuvey. Tackled him right underneath where he's carrying the ball, and Barry John Mather's come out and lost possession.
You see the pass here. This is a total mismatch in tackling here. Barry John Mather, 6'4". Tuvey, the smallest one on the Australian side. Great tackle, copybook.
5'5", I think, Tuvey. A bit like little and large there.
I tell you what, he might be small, but I can tell you he can tackle. Mark Coyne, he's got a bad gash on top of his head there, Mark Coyne, and he looks a bit groggy too.
Yes, into the blood bin. I think we should remember, with the blood bin, under international rules, no time limit. So Mark Coyne can come back on whenever that blood has been stopped. Australia still not put anyone on the field yet. Well, Australia attacking down that left-hand side, and Jason Smith. Jason Smith coming on. Gillespie. Australia in a little harassed there. They first of all were deciding to put Johns on, then they switched and brought the forward on Jason Smith.
Jason can play in the back row, and he also does play in the centres there, so Australia's not going to lose a great deal at this stage.
There was a switch of play from Australia, but the ball was adjudged to go forward by the referee, and it'll be a scrum down with England's feed.
England's feed, Sean Edwards. finds Jason Robinson. Oh, and again he loses the ball, but a let-off. Hopoate lost the ball, and there's a little argument there between Hopoate, the original knock-on by Robinson, but not a knock-on. Referee Cummings adjudging that the ball went backwards from Robinson, and so the knock-on being adjudged to Hopoate. I think the referee was right there, Steve.
It was right. It was a great tackle first off from Brad Fiddler there. What Australia's actually done is they've moved Jason Smith into the back row, and they've moved Steve Menzies out into the centres.
What is a little disconcerting though, Joe, we are losing the ball.
Yes, we've talked about it all week prior to this game. Conditions don't help, but if you let the ball go against Australia, eventually they'll take one of the chances and put points on the board.
Oohs and ahs from the crowd at that tackle, but I don't think too much wrong with it. Neither did Darryl Powell. Carl Harrison charging in, but referee Cummins is having nothing to do with that tackle. And a penalty to England.
Back on number 3, Mark Coyne.
Just 20 minutes gone, no score. England 0, Australia 0. And really, Steve, it's like two teams shadowboxing at the moment.
They are. Neither team has tried to move the ball out wide at pace with long passes, with players standing wide. They're going up the middle, they're testing each other out. I'm sure the last 15 minutes or so of this game will come alive.
As we could see there with the head bandage, Mark Coyne back on from the sin bin.
With the Australian team, Dr. Nathan Gibbs, Mark Coyne's injury not too serious.
No, it's only a small head laceration. Unfortunately, it was bleeding fairly profusely, which is why the referee brought him off. But the bleeding stopped, it's been taped up, he should be okay.
Thank you very much.
And this is where England must retain possession here, must keep that pressure on. Lee Jackson. But Australia very, very powerful around the rucks on the 5th tackle. And a penalty.
Dave Gillespie struggling out there. He's looks like he's got a bad dead leg.
Yeah, and a penalty against England for, in fact, not playing the ball quick enough and interfering there, as we can see, Jackson. But I do think he was being interfered with, Steve.
He was being interfered with, but to see that swinging elbow there, that was the penalty was for. He should have just laid there and he would have got the penalty.
Yes, you certainly got to keep your discipline in the game.
That's 2 occasions where England have been in Australia's last 10 metres of the field and failed to come up with the goods.
Miss Menzies looking for that vital break. The first forward to score over 20 tries in 50 years in Australia this season. Fickler. And Gillespie in trouble.
Substitution for Australia.
Looks like a knock to the thigh.
I have to agree with Steve Ray that Australia at the moment do seem disorganised.
Well taken. He judged that ball beautifully, did young Redlinski. And there is Paul Harrigan, the substitute. Very, very experienced forward. 11 tests for the Kangaroos. The Newcastle Knights forward and one of the toughest down under. Robinson. He's a real live wire, is this Wigan wing. Phil Clark. You think England, Joe, playing it a little bit tight around the rucks? You know, 4 or 5 times we've seen Lee Jackson go, and we're just sending 1 or 2 forwards on their own.
I'm sure that's the game plan. As I mentioned earlier, I think Australia are playing a little bit out of sorts at the moment. But England mustn't fall to the old trick of thinking that they've got the game won already. They must keep the pressure on Australia and stop runs like this.
And it looks as though David Gillespie's part in this match for Australia is probably at an end. He's got a hamstring tear in his left leg. You saw him leave the field in quite some discomfort.
Well, that's sad for David Gillespie. 2 tours over here with the Kangaroos, a veteran of 17 tests. Great campaigner for Australia. Another campaigner there, Mark Carroll, the Manly club. Tuvey trying to get things moving down this left-hand side with Fickler. Certainly, no one as yet can complain about this England defence. Very tight in the middle. Robinson will let the ball go. John Bentley doing a lot of work in midfield. He's a big man. He can give one or two forwards a rest. Paul Newlove finding the conditions underfoot, a little slipping. Betts, Harrison.
It now seems to be the time of the game now where England might make a change. They did mention it, and I think there's a substitute warming up on the bench.
And it's Chris Joynt warming up. Second row from St Helens. John Edwards, a nice little chip kick. Oh, he just can't hold the possession. He had the ball on the end of his fingertips, but Brasher came in very, very well and put him down.
It was another great tackle from Jeff Tuvey there. He read that play good. He's seen a little chip from Edwards and coming over the top, and another good tackle, and Edwards has dropped the ball.
And I think it's interesting that Sean Edwards reading the game, realising how tight this defence is. I think we need a little chip kick. But here's danger. Play on, says Stuart Cummings, that the ball went back. Now then, Australia have got men and space out here. Oh, Dimmock puts the kick in. I think he should have passed it. Good run out of defence here by John Bentley. I really do think Dimmock wasted a chance there, Steve.
He did. The numbers were even. It was 3 on 3, but Jimmy should have used the ball. There's still a couple of tackles to go on that play.
Mather inching over that 20-metre line. Betts. Australia 4-1 odds-on favourites to win this Halifax World Cup. But England holding them at this stage. Andy Farrell. A very big loose forward, but he has plenty of speed. Edwards. Well taken by Brasher. Brasher experience here again at Wembley in the World Cup final in '92.
What you can't compensate for is games, playing actual games. Australia have trained very hard, but as we were saying before, a lot of players haven't actually played body contact sport, and this is very hard for them. Australia is struggling at the minute with a body contact.
Jeff Tuvey now opening that ball out wide. He's got Coyne. Oh, that's a good dummy. He's got Wishart outside. Tuvey inside him, and they're going to bottle themselves up here. They do. Australia would have been better advised to push that ball out wide, but they're in charge. Fickler to Dimmock. Dimmock looks for support. Out here, Opawati going for the corner. It needs a good tackle. It's still in possession. Oh, good defence there from England. Mr. Cummings, though, ruled a knock-on. No advantage, and it's Australia ball. Still the pressure on England.
Scrambling defence here by England. The chance on here, Dimmock just brought down short of the line and loses the ball. That was great scrambling defence from England.
He actually ruled 6 more tackles again, Stuart Cummings, on this. Homawadi passes inside. Now he rules, it comes up Barry John Mather there, so Australia got 6 more tackles now. And in this, Jimmy Dimmock loses the ball, loses the advantage there. It could have been very dangerous for England if they had 6 tackles on their try line.
And Chris Joynt coming on.
And the English substitution is purely a tactical switch. They've decided to give Carl Harrison a breather, and Chris Joynt of St Helens goes on. Andy Goodway on the bench for England says that they'll play it pretty much by ear. They'll wait and see how each individual player looks to be moving, looks to be feeling.
Terry Hill trying to go around. Certainly the damp conditions and the rain this morning is proving very difficult for these players. Here we see Terry Hill trying to go round Darryl Powell. Coyne can't quite take it. Neither can Powell. But we had heavy rain here down in London at Wembley overnight. Purely tactical there. Carl Harrison done a good job in the early stages. And there we see it's unusual, isn't it? 8 handling errors already.
Yeah, well, the ground, it is a little bit slippery out there with the early rain, and both teams, Nurse comes into it also, and they're both probably trying to push it that little bit too much. They need to just settle down the play a little bit, control the ball, use their sets of 6 tackles with it, so they make the opposition defend.
And another thing I think, though, Joe, as well, that, you know, handling errors are often caused by fierce tackling, and we've got some good tackling here.
On both sides, yeah, there's been some excellent tackling going in. Steve's right what he said earlier, though, that it's the last 15 minutes, maybe of each half, that'll determine the scores. I'm sure the gaps will open up, particularly in the second half.
Platt shrugs off that tackle by Harrigan. Dennis Betts. Mr. Cummings keeping a very, very wide 10-metre gap between the two sides, looking to try to get this game flowing. Power inside to Newlove. Again, well watched by loose forward Jim Dibber. Edwards, the little chip again. This time, oh, Phil Clark couldn't hold it, but the tactic was there, the tactic was right. But it's Australia now on the attack. Hopoate, what a strong runner he is, this lad from Manly. And a penalty against England for holding on.
The penalty here is
Well
Sean
received.
Edwards hanging on. See, he's touching him, he's pulling. You can rake the ball back, but you cannot touch the man playing the ball, and Stuart Cummings has penalised Sean for having his hands on Hopoate's shoulders.
Yes, a good decision from Mr. Cummings. Less than 10 minutes remaining then in this first half. Still no score. Still both sides battling for advantage. Bartrim. Bartrim again. To Pay. Difficult forward to put down this Dean Pay. Australia edging nearer all the time. Tuvey, he'll switch the play, he does. Fekler, oh, beautiful sidestep from Fekler, and there's the first try to Menzies. Beautiful play. The ball was switched, first of all, by Jeff Tuvey. The shimmy from Brad Fekler, the class on the fingertips. And I mentioned Steve Menzies, I mentioned his try-scoring feats down under. Here he is, his first of the tour, the first of the tournament, his 23rd of the year.
The two main playmakers for Australia, Tuvey to Fittler, a little step inside, back down the ruck area, and there's Menzies, as you say, prolific try scorer on the end of Fittler's pass to score.
Australia done well here, because what they did, they stacked their left-hand side, and England was spread out, thought they were going to spread the ball. Brad Fittler seen the defence move up too quick, big step off his left foot, and Steve Menzies backing up the middle and offloaded the Menzies and scored under the post.
Only Rod Wishart, another prolific point scorer, the top scorer on the European Tour last year, 174 points in England and France. 12 tests, 118 points in his 12 tests, and has a phenomenal strike rate of 10 points a match. Here he strikes, another 2. So it's Australia put the first points on the scoreboard. England 0, Australia 6. 32.5 minutes gone. And here we see the switch, first of all, by 2, and that shimmy from Fittler. He goes through, and Menzies. Only 2 forwards, Bob McCarthy and Frank Burge, have ever topped the try-scoring lists in Australia, and this man is one who has done it. That instinctive move, the gap was there, and supreme support play.
You notice that happens a lot. The man that missed the tackle was Chris Joynt. He's come on cold. He's just on there. He's not into the speed of the game, and he's missed the tackle. And that often happens a lot when you're not into the speed. You usually come up the narrow early on when you come on.
Australia suddenly looking confident now. They looked a shade nervous in the early stages, a shade hesitant for the world champion side. Pay. England forwards have got to move in quickly now.
Carl Harrison taking a breather on the England bench. Carl, never a good time, but that's a bad time to concede a try.
Certainly is. We talked about it in preparation all week. Australia are very dangerous either side of half-time, and they'll come up trumps again 5 minutes before half-time.
You're looking forward to getting back on?
Certainly am. I was a bit fast out there, and I think with the way the game is, I think the prop's got to rotate.
Thanks, Carl.
England certainly needing points just before half-time. Robinson. We're moving away from the Atin half-back a lot. Jackson, Robinson. Good or bad? The possession...
Yeah, I think it's a good thing, really. You've got to get in and help your forwards, the wingers and the outside backs. But they just need a score now. They need to settle things down, get the game plan back together, establish a pattern, and try and get into Australia's territory.
Dennis Betts. Sean Edwards. That's a good high one. Now then, that is a tester on Brescia. Oh, he's lost it! Almost a chance there for John Bentley if John Bentley could have moved in. But here is a chance of 6 tackles now. He kept his eye on the ball, just couldn't take it. And luckily it bounced back to him.
That's the first time that England have gone to the high kick. Brescia, as you say, covered it well, but at the last minute took his eye off it, possibly. Spilled the ball. That could have been a try for England if it had gone to hand.
This is a good time to get the football. It's only about 5 minutes to go before half-time, and they can put plenty of pressure on Australia here.
Oh, Andy Farrell going for the line! And Andy Farrell has scored! Superb run down the blind side! The very try that England wanted! I thought for a second we'd lost it when he dummied. Edwards outside him and John Bentley, but the lad had every confidence in himself. I said he had power and he had the pace, and finally he had the strength to carry the Kangaroo defence over. Superb effort.
Excellent effort from Andy Farrell, justifying his place at loose forward, using his strength from the base of the scrum to get over the line.
A lot of power here. He's a big man, he's only a young lad, but he's got a lot of strength. He gets over the line. As we were saying before, no tries for 30 minutes, and in the last 5 minutes we've had 2 tries, one from each team.
And we can just see the strength of the 20-year-old there. He's holding off Menzies, he's holding off Tuvey. And we can also see the determination. Good try. And that is just the reply that England needed at this stage in the game. And it's Farrell to take the kick. Seemingly no nerves, this youngster. He's taken over the kicking duties at Central Park with Wigan in the absence of the former All Black, Fran Obotika, now resident at Castleford. And he's done an excellent job. He's certainly looking for good lift on that ball. Huge mound of sand there.
This is an important kick for Andrew. He's trained and trained. He must have put hours in of practice. He needs to strike this first one well, and I'm sure his rest of the kicking for the day will be good.
But he's missed it. He didn't really seem to get a good kick behind that, a good whack behind it, Joe.
You'd be surprised just how far this lad could kick it. I mean, he's got the size and the power in the legs. If his timing's right, that's all it needs.
But I think Phil Larder and his assistant there, John Joyner, will be happy with that try. Everything still to play for. And a timely reply, Steve.
It is, as we were talking earlier on, the first 30 minutes was softening up period. Now both teams, they're settled down and they'll get into it, and 2 tries in quick succession, 1 from each team, and it's all there to play for.
Good drive down the blind side there by Chris Joyce. And Andy Farrell again, not shirking the hard work. Sean Edwards, Dennis Betts, Platt. England, I think, just possibly a little content at this 6-4 score, just coming up to the half-time, wanting to hold in here.
out of the two teams, England have certainly had the best kicking game so far. Sean Edwards and Andy Farrell, especially Sean Edwards. He's mixed his kicks up from long kicks to little chip kicks, and that's certainly on England, certainly on top in that part of the game.
Wayne Barton coming away. Came from nowhere this season with a good display, and possession there kicked away, Joe.
Yes, England have kicked well, as Steve said, but they have failed to contain Australia. When they've kicked long, they failed to contain Australia, and within a set of 6 tackles, as you can see, they're right back in the middle of England's half.
But on the 5th tackle now then, Australia's turn to test them. Little chip from Fickler. Ooh, what a knockdown.
You'll see it's a great little chip from Brad Fiddler over the top, never takes his eyes off the ball. Now Jason, little chip through, and then Lee Jackson just can't take the ball, knock on, and now they're under pressure again because Australia's got the ball on England's 22.
It was a great kick. It was good covering actually from Lee Jackson to be there and covering the ball from the kick, but just failed to get hold of it.
40 minutes up into injury time now. And Australia looking to add even more points. Oh, Wishart siding his way through. This is a difficult situation now for England as Tuvey moves this ball across. Knock on. And relief for the home side.
It was relief for England here. The Australians could have got the ball out wider, and I think the chance might have been on. Instead, they turned it back inside through Tuvey to Menzies. The knock-on resulting in the scrum for England and relieving a little bit of pressure.
I'm sure England will just want to play their way through these 6 tackles. Safety first. Barry John Mather. Robinson. Paul Newlove, not been in the game too much. Oh, almost in the game there. Just held there by Aussie centre Coyne. And there is the hooter. A good, solid, strong performance from England. Australia going in the lead with Menzies and Wishart, but Farrell hitting back. 6-4 for Australia. 40 minutes to come. Plenty of action remaining. And off we go for the second half with Andy Farrell. England moving in well already. Darryl Powell, Dennis Betts and Jackson. Substitute Paul Harrigan. And Mark Carroll. That's a good tackle. Very good tackle round the legs there from Phil Clark. But I think one of the noticeable aspects about the Australian play, Joe, is the speed of the play of the ball. They are just half a second quicker than England.
Yeah, they have the ability to come out of the danger area very, very quickly. They play the ball fast, as you say. In the 10 yards between the two teams, they make full advantage of it and move up very, very quickly with ball in hand.
And we may very soon see another exciting aspect of England's play coming up the tunnel after half-time. Phil Lauder, the England coach, was talking and giving very detailed instructions to Bobby Goulding. So I shouldn't be at all surprised if Bobby Goulding doesn't join the action quite soon.
Both sides, of course, can make 4 substitutions during the game. And there is Bobby Goulding, the St Helens scrum half. Phil Clark. England perhaps not knowing where to put the ball there. Robinson coming in. Sean Edwards moving it better now to Paul Newlove. Gets it back inside to John Bentley. Good from Bentley. Difficult to put down this Halifax wing. Edwards again. Another high one. The Taster. Play on, I think. Yes, play on to Barry John Mather. Driving for that line. He flicked it behind him. Going for the line. Jason Robinson. Oh, he can't get it down, surely. He's on his back. He was fighting frantically to turn himself over. I think he knows in his own mind that he just didn't get it down. He was on his back, and despite the struggles, it was no try.
Once again, you'll see the kicking game was in play again. He's held up, but it all come about from a great kick from Shaun Edwards.
And there we see, and all praise to Harrigan there. He holds him up, holds and clamps his arms. The ball goes down, but the player is on his back. But it's England again, still putting pressure on Australia, and they've got to make this tell with points. Shaun Edwards to Darryl Powell, Powell going himself. Jackson, Betts, not really running from depth there. The pass I don't think really intended for Dennis Betts, but still England on the attack. Shaun Edwards, Phil Clark. Couple of tackles remaining in this sequence. Surely Edwards will want to move it wide. He does. To Powell, he's got Newlove out here. Newlove has got Rudnitsky. Newlove going himself. Can't get the ball away. Excellent tackle there by Coyne. On the sixth tackle. Chris Joynt drives through. There's a chance for a try. Mr. Cummings checks with the in-goal judge and he awards a try. No knock-on, says the in-goal judge. And that's what they are there for, to judge on that. The Australians don't like it. The English fans certainly are not bothered. And England, for the first time in the game, go in the lead. Here we'll have a better view.
This is exactly the start that England wanted to this second half. Unusual for Chris Joynt to be kicking on the last tackle. Manages to get to the ball after Brasher puts it behind him, drops on the ball for a try. Great start for England for this second half.
Yeah, once again, the kicking game, little chip kick through from Joynt there. Brasher makes a big mess of it. Now, I think the in-goal touch judge was right, because it doesn't look like the Brasher did get any touch to it, and it's a fair try.
Certainly, I think Chris Joynt put downward pressure, and that's all you have to do. Put downward pressure on the ball. Good kick by Joynt, a good chase. Anticipation.
Maybe that's the half-time talk from Phil Lauder. They've been, in the first half, England have been in Australians' half and failed to come up with the goods on a few occasions. That was the first opportunity in the second half, and they fully took it.
We saw the tactic in the first half, Steve, the little chip kick through. This Australian defence is very, very flat. It moves him very, very quickly. And Brasher, the full-back, he's actually standing rather deep.
Yeah, he's come up with a few errors with the football, with the high balls and little kicks, Brasher. Maybe it might be time to give Robbie O'Davis a chance here. He is a full-back, and it might be something that Bobby Fulton could do, is bring him on.
Andy Farrell looking for a goal, and he finds it this time. Better luck than his previous attempt. Brings a smile to Michael Parkinson and Fred Truman's faces, and not to Bobby Fulton's, I may add. But then the Aussie coach rarely smiles. England 10, Australia 6, 5 minutes into this second half.
Chris Joynt puts the ball along the floor with the boot. Brasher fails to clean it up, and there's Joynt following up to score the try.
The kick-off picked up by Darryl Powell, and Phil Clark looking eager to take it. Determined tackle there from Jim Dimmock. Robinson looking for a slice of the action. Always dangerous, this powerful, stocky England and Wigan wingman. Robinson takes a lot of pressure off the pack. Betts and Platts doing a good job in midfield.
This is an important set of 6 tackles here for England. They've already just scored the try. Now they're moving downfield with the kick. Let's see if they can contain Australia again near their own line.
And that is a very sensible kick, because that kick sends Australia scuttling 50 metres back downfield. It takes the pressure off England, especially after that score. Terry Hill shrugs off Shaun Edwards. He's a powerful runner.
I think Barry John Mather's going to have to lift his defence. He's been pushed off a couple of times in the game so far.
A tackle from Andy Platt. Dean Pay looks for support and finds it in the shape of Menzies. Now then, he has the pace to go 50, 60 metres, this lad. Back to Fittler. Not quite touch in goal.
That's the difference in the kicking games. Australia now, I think that's 4 times they've kicked and made the ball dead in goal, where England come back with a 22-metre tap, where England are keeping their kicks in play and Australia have to run it out or play it.
And of course, when the ball goes in goal like that, it's England with a tap on the 20-metre, in theory, to retain possession for 6 tackles. Dennis Betts. Sean Edwards looking to kick again, I think. England look to be wanting to kick, Joe. I think they want to play this game essentially in Australia's half, never mind what tackle we're in.
They do, they've got to get rid of it and put the pressure on Australia. That's a good kick there from Andrew Farrell. Turning again Brasher, making him run back for the ball and bringing it out towards, hopefully, a good defensive English line.
And a kick is as good as a chase, and just look at the England chasers up there. Hopewati. Almost getting away, gets his pass away, if not himself. Back to Dimmock, this is better from Australia now. Tuvey. Carroll. The workhorse in this Australian pack, Mark Carroll from Manly. And Brad Fittler, the artist behind the pack. Menzies significantly keeping out wide, looking to use that burst of pace. Fittler again, does well to get his pass away. Nice inside to Tuvey. This time to Coyne, he's got Wishart inside him. Good covering there from Paul Newlove. That was danger for England. This still is. Fittler. Oh, that's a tester for this young... Oh, was he interfered with? I think he was! But it's a try nonetheless to Mark Coyne. The high kick put panic, put England in trouble. Australia's Mark Coyne taking advantage of it. And look out, England. Australia back in there. England 10, Australia 10. And this should be, I think, interesting viewing.
I think this is great. Brad Fittler, Phil Clark was coming 100 mile an hour at Brad Fittler. He just took his time, never panicked. It was just pinpoint accuracy with the kick. He's gone up Chris, he's gone up too early. Mark Coyne's on the spot and scored the try. But Brad Fittler, how calm was he when he kicked that football?
It was a great kick. Chris Radlinski just lost it somewhere in flight. The ball bounced kindly for Australia, but there was Coyne on the spot to touchdown for 4 points. It was a great kick from Fittler.
Yep. I think, as you say, Joe, I thought he'd been pushed, but it's not. He loses it in flight. He senses the ball has gone behind him. And there he is on hand to pick up. Good play by Coyne. Try.
He just jumped about a yard too soon. As you were saying earlier, Joe, that the wind swirls around here at Wembley, and you've played here many times, and you know, especially at the fullback spot, you know what it's like with the high kicks.
Once you get the ball above the height of the post, and it's dropping like that on your line, a fullback is very, very difficult to judge, and I think Chris had a lot of problems with that there.
Rod Wishart then with the kick, just 2 metres inside the 20-metre line, about 15 metres in from the touch. Oh, and he puts it to the right of the upright. Not a good kick there from Wishart. All square, 51 minutes gone.
You see here, all the time in the world, puts it right up. Phil Clark takes him out, but it wasn't late, he was okay there. Just 1 yard too early, Radlinski. Mark Coyne, eyes on the ball, easiest of tries in the end.
Andy Farrell, left-footed. Kick, oh, and that's a bad slip. That's a mad slip by Jim Dimmock. I think he felt that the full-back was behind him. I don't think he realised that there was just 10-15 metres of green grass, Joe.
The ball kept very, very low here from Andrew Farrell's kick. Jim Dimmock expected to trap it quite easily. Just bounced straight under his foot.
It's very casual there, and that's inexperience. After you score a try, the next major object you have then is to control it for the next six tackles.
Jason Smith on for Mark Carroll. Both coaches using these substitutions for tactical purposes, bringing a fresh forward on. Dennis Betts. There is Mark Carroll, had a good opening 50 minutes. Will Clark. England edging forward. Little rubber kick again. Oh, Brasher's hovering about and he's caught. It's a drop out beneath the post. Again, another testing kick on Tim Brasher. You know, I was Bobby Goulding there, just having a warm-up. I was only speaking to John Mooney, our colleague of recent seasons. He was saying that in Australia, a kick behind Brasher often finds him wanting. And there it did. So, England keep on the pressure. Robinson. John Edwards looking to open up here now. Darryl Powell switch inside to Paul Newland. Newland just being held there by the flanks. Jackson again. Edwards, he's got support with him. Good long ball to Barry John Mather. Mather electing to go himself. Can't get through on the fifth tackle. Is it worth an attempted drop goal at this stage? Well, still the last tackle. Darryl Powell gets the ball back to Edwards. Surely worth a drop goal. It is. But no. Good attempt there from Andy Farrell. The ball hit the Australian's leg, but no attempt to play it. So the sixth tackle.
It was good defence from Australia, although they had a chance to have a drop goal here for the 1 point. It had been good Australian defence that had kept England out.
And the substitution of the Australian prop Mark Carroll, well, partly tactical, but also he's got a problem with his right eye socket. He was having a doctor was having a look at it, and it's obviously sore. So Carroll a problem with his right eye socket.
Obviously, England, Steve, limbering Bobby Goulding up. You think it's time to bring a youngster like Simon Horton on? An exciting, powerful runner could take the Aussies by surprise.
Well, he could do, because he's powerful and out wide. The Australians, if they're getting a little bit tired, he'll certainly test them out.
Edwards again trying to launch this England back line. Paul Newlove. Well, I think Mark Corney's been looking at one or two videos of Paul Newlove, Joe. That sidestep inside.
Definitely, Paul Newlove does like to come back on the inside, change the angle of attack, and I think Coyne's, every time he's tried it, has been there, policed it very, very well and contained it.
But this Australian defence sliding across to the touchlines very, very quickly whenever there's a problem. Farrell. What a good game this loose forward's having on attack and defence. Andy Platts. You think it's too early, Steve, for England to be setting up drop goal chances?
Well, I don't think so, because if they do get the 1 point anyway, they're going to get the football back.
Oh, he's missed it! Dennis Betts back inside. He had an overlap on the outside.
He seems to have lost a lot of confidence, Tim Brasher. He doesn't seem safe under the high balls or low balls.
Well, I think we can see here that the ball actually hit the English player's head, and so the ball had to be handed over on the sixth tackle. An interference at the play of the ball, and that was definitely not wanted.
They've had all the ball so far, England. They've had a lot of football over the last 4 or 5 sets of tackles. England's had it. Australia's had to defend. Now, this is going to be crucial for England. They've got to do their share of defending now, and Australia's going to have their chance to attack. And this could be a crucial part of the game the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Well, this game reminds me, Steve, of that 92 World Cup final when it was all squared, everything was even, and then suddenly that one pounced by Steve Renouf, and Australia had won the game in the 68th minute. We'll see.
That's how Australian play the game, though. They wait and wait and wait. It might be the last minute, but if there's a gap there to take the chance and take the game, then they'll use it.
Dimmock, Fickler again. But again lost by Menzies. Picked up by Edwards to Farrell. Jason Robinson. England looking to me, Joe, as if they might need a substitution just to put a little bit of variety into the play.
Yes, you mentioned Simon Horton's name. He's a youngster with a lot of pace, likes to get out wide and run at defences. And now with people getting a little bit tired and maybe some of those gaps will start to open up, I think he would be an ideal substitute.
Bill Clark just can't get that ball away. Well clamped there by Harrigan. Edwards with the run around. Well read by Menzies. We talk about Menzies as an attacking player, but he certainly can tackle. Andy Farrow. Rubber kick. Picked up well this time by Brasher. Brasher, the Sydney Tigers fullback. He's an experienced fullback, 6 tests. An inexperienced player, John Opoati, but certainly a powerful one. Dimmock.
Steve, how do you see the pattern of play from Australia now? Do you look tired to you?
They are struggling a little bit, but I think where they're struggling the most is that their key pivot players, the loose forward, halfback and standoff, they don't play with each other week in, week out. They're all from different clubs and they don't know each other's play.
With that break as well since their off-season, since the end of their season, would cause a problem, you think.
That's a good kick. Oh, Chris Radlinski's not picked that one up again. Australia on target here. Oh, Hopewati was well tackled, but good play there in the corner from the Wigan youngster. He missed the flight of the ball, but he kept moving and he put a crunching tackle in there. And that's a penalty to England, being carried over the line when the tackle had been made, and it's a relieving penalty too. Australia putting a lot of pressure now, Steve, on young Radlinski.
They are. He's cut a couple of balls that he actually hasn't really got to, but they will to try to keep putting them bombs up to him.
You've got to give Chris Radlinski credit there, though. He got back for that tackle. It's probably one of the most crucial tackles he'll make in this game. Managed to keep Opawati out and clamp the ball so that Australia couldn't score the try.
Jackson. England settling down again after that near scare. The flag swirling around. There is a breeze underneath the stadium here, and any fullback who's not played here before, Joe, it can be quite disconcerting.
We've talked about it many times. It's very difficult to judge. I think even if you've played here a few times, you're not quite sure where the ball's going to fly, how it's going to fly. You just got to try your best to get underneath it.
Harrigan, well met there by England's tackler, Phil Clark. Certainly Australia not made the progress from around the ruck area that we've become accustomed to in recent seasons. Good defensive network. Nets, aided by Powell. A little cramp for Bartram. Fickler, the man who is most likely to prize open a gap. Brasher on the 5th tackle. Will Fickler test Radlinski again? Nice, calmly trapping of the ball there from the youngster. And this is better from the lad now. That will give him confidence. Good effort from the 19-year-old there. To Bentley. Newlove.
They keep running to Jeff Turvey all the time, but he keeps making the tackles.
I think tiredness setting in both teams now, Joe.
Yes, possibly. Those gaps may start to appear now. Lee Jackson with the penalty there, trying to struggle get to his feet. Good ball there.
That's a good break by Phil Clark. It was a good pass from John Bentley. Sean Edwards. Again, kicking behind Brasher, forcing him back, but not really achieving anything. I think Sean Edwards knows what he's done. It really needed to be much higher than that, Joe, didn't it?
He'd be annoyed with himself there, Sean. He probably had too much time. He was thinking about what to do, whether to put the low one in or the really high one, and in the end got caught in two minds and put the ball too deep.
The game tightly balanced. England 10, Australia 10. The tries for Australia, Menzies and Coyne. The tries from Farrell and Joint for England. Harrigan. Invariably likes to take the ball up at first receiver. Tuvey now trying to stretch it out wide. Dimmock. That's a good pass to Menzies. Couldn't get a good pass away though. Flicked on to Newland. He'll do well just to hold this, allow England to regroup. No acting half back there. Bentley. Jason Robinson. Chris Joints. Injected that little extra pace into the England pack since his arrival. Darryl Powell. Oh! Powell did well to pick that pass down. Wasn't expecting it. Sean Edwards. Straight into the arms of Tim Brasher. Hill. Hopewati shrugs off one tackler. He can be very pleased with his game, can this Tongan.
The game needs something different just to bring it alive, but England mustn't fall into the trap, or Australia for that matter, of trying to do something different just to create it. They've got to wait for the opportunity to happen. It might look a little bit boring and the game might look a little bit static, but you've got to play the percentages and play the intensity.
Australia's wing there, Hopewati, not really judging Brad Fittler's pass. It was well intended. It went in the right direction, but both
Substitution
Hill and Hopewati had overrun. And as we suggested, the youngster Simon Horton coming on for his debut. Just 19 years of age and just 24 matches under his belt for Wigan. Andy Platt coming off.
He's worked very, very hard on the Platt in the forwards in the front row there, but now maybe it's the time to, as it brings Simon Horton on, try and exploit some of the gaps that might develop.
Robinson doing well, coming into that position there. Just 15 minutes remaining in this match. 10-point each. Barry John Mather looking to surprise that giant 6'5" frame through. Now then, Horton with his first touch of the ball. The former England schools winger. Now the second row. Lee Jackson. And I do think we should be looking for a drop goal sooner or later. We should be edging towards those posts if England want to win this game. Out to Chris Radlinski on the outside. That's neat inside to Jason Robinson. He's got Australia in a tangle here.
Himself in a tangle, to be honest. Lost his foot in there, but a good chance for England.
Sean Edwards. Little grubber kick. Newell's going for it. Oh, he fell over there. He fell over Mark Coyne. The ball was there. He couldn't get it down.
I tell you where England are sharper than Australia, it's around the play the ball area. Jackson is making a lot more ground than Bartram. Another handy little kick from Sean Edwards there. Wishart takes it safely. There.
And England have certainly upset Australia with these little chip kicks and grubber kicks. It's broken up this flat defensive plan.
Before the game, I was looking to Fittler to be the one who, with his skill of kicking, to be worrying the England defence, but it's certainly been, the boot's been on the other foot, and England have caused a lot of problems to the Australian defence with their different types of kick.
A good kick again this time by Fickler. He's looking for territory. He's looking for yards. We've got the territory there, Steve, but we've not done an awful lot with it, have we?
No, I mean, it's been a hard slog out there, so territory and possession is really not going to matter at this stage of the game. What is interesting, Phil Larder has now got 5 back row forwards in his pack. There's no more big men up there, no more front rowers. So maybe he's just said to England, now let's open the game up, let's use our pace.
Well, let's pay credit to Australia. Their defence has been as sound, has been as sure as it normally is, that we come to expect. Farrell. To Simon Hall.
Stand up.
Dennis Betts. England forwards driving in hard, really putting up some steam, but not really breaking the green and gold. Jackson. Kawati misjudging it. Oh, and he loses it. Here's a chance for Jason Robinson. He's in on the corner. Oh, an error by the wingman. And Jason Robinson picks it up. He saw the line and he was in at the corner. It started when Hopoate misjudged the kick. He let it go behind him. He had to turn there for it. And then he lost it.
Pressure football by England. They kicked into the corners. Hopoate tried to bring it out. Good chase by England. Good defence. I think it was Phil Clark that came up with a crucial tackle that spilled the ball. Jason Robinson, if you give him chances like that, he's going to take them. He pounced on the ball and managed to get over in the corner, Steve.
It's a great kick from Lee Jackson there. As I was saying before, he's certainly been the best hooker on the park. Hopoate, he actually took his time to get back to the ball. He just mucked around a little bit. Jason Robinson on the spot, picks up the loose balls and scores a great 4-pointer.
It was Barry John Mather actually comes up with the tackle here, and Lee Jackson who'd done the kick. They were onside and a great defence.
I think what it does show, Joe, you can put kick after kick after kick in, but it's the chasing that actually gets you the try, doesn't it? All credit there to England for getting up there.
Coaches tell the players week in, week out at training, you've got to have a good chasing team. And anybody watching the video later on or watching this game now, that's exactly the results you can get if you do that.
A very difficult kick here now for this 20 years old loose forward, right out here on the touchline. He'll try to swing it in. This slight breeze swirling around here, under the roofing here. Oh, it looks good, and it is good. Straight between the posts. A superb kick from Andy Farrell there, right out on that touchline. And somehow I have the feeling that this Halifax World Cup is suddenly coming alight. England 16, Australia 10. Plenty of time remaining, of course, but England, they did well to pick up this chance, Steve.
They did. But what I did notice after this try of Jason Robinson's was that Brad Fiddler got all the Australians together and was telling them to calm down, don't panic, there's still plenty of time in this game to go, there's 10 minutes to go, and there's still time for both teams to score more tries.
And the referee stopping the play here as Phil Clark went charging in. Looks like Paul Harrigan out there on the floor. I think he caught his head on his own player.
Well, Brad Fiddler it was. Brad Fiddler's down in the background too. Brad Fiddler and Paul Harrigan collided in the tackle.
And here we can see it. It's Phil Clark driving forward. Menzies is it? Yes, there's the clash of heads. Let's hope there's not too much wrong there with Paul Harrigan. Nasty knock to the cheekbone.
I notice it's a tactical move by Bob Fulton. He's pulled Bartram off, I think, and he's replaced him with Matthew Johns. Matthew Johns usually a halfback, so he probably notices that he hasn't been doing it either.
And here we see that clash of the heads. Play continuing. England in possession, and I think they'll be desperate just to hold this ball here, then get to Farrell or Edwards to put a kick in. And a penalty again.
That's a key penalty there for England. Australia judged maybe a high tackle, 2 attempts to try and hit young Simon Horton there.
Yes, Terry Hill proving quite naughty, using the arm. And well spotted by Mr. Cummings. Paul Harrigan in obvious difficulty, and there we see once with that elbow half in. No need for that. It's been a good clean game. Let's keep it that way. And Simon Horton relishing this introduction to international rugby. Just 7 minutes remaining here in this opening match of the Halifax World Cup. Darryl Powell. England sending Lee Jackson forward on the 5th tackle to Sean Edwards. A high one, a tester again. Paul Newlove's there. Oh, Mark Coy went into Newlove there. I thought there was a hint of obstruction. Not spotted by Mr. Cummings. But England moving in, keen now to keep the green and gold down here. And I don't think we've seen an awful lot from Jeff Tuvey at scrum half, Steve, for Australia.
But he's made a lot of tackles, he's defended well, but his forwards haven't been going forward. He's on his own line there. There's no big men to run it out for him. He's the smallest man in the field, and he's got to take the ball up.
England assistant coach Andy Goodway, Robinson's try was a reward for application, really, wasn't it?
Oh, Paul Newlove intercepted here now then. Brasher coming across, and he shrugs it off. Oh, and a superb effort by Paul Newlove. He plucked the ball out of nowhere. He may weigh 15 stone plus, but this boy has pace from Bradford. Isn't he delighted? He set a smile on those faces, and England out now by 20 points to 10.
Australia just pushing the pass, trying to get back in this game, and instead Paul Newlove comes up with the ball, the interception, manages to hold off Brasher with a strong fend and get into the corner for the try that could seal this game for England.
You see, Jimmy Dimmick, that's inexperience. There's no need to push that pass. Paul Newlove just said, thank you very much. He's smiling before he gets to the line, Newlove. Great fend, right arm fend, pushes Brasher off, still smiling. 4-pointer.
Didn't he just enjoy that try? But there it is. He plucked it out of nowhere. And he's a big man, is Newlove. And just watch this handoff. We don't see many handoffs these days. That was a cracker. The England coaching party on their feet. John Joyner, the assistant from Castleford, Phil Larder, at last a smile on his face. And I think that smile will increase if Andy Farrell can put this one over the crossbar. A little easier than his last one from the touchline. It is about 10 metres in. Little attention for Darryl Powell, but roars and shouts of England, England, roaring around this famous Wembley Stadium.
This is the wrong side for Andrew Farrell, being left-footed.
Well, I'll have a little bet, Joe. I think he might kick it.
You owe me again, Ray.
Oh! That's a 10-pence piece, Joe. Well, it was a good effort. Left foot or no left foot. It's England 20, Australia 10. And England have thrown down the gauntlet to the other 8 nations watching this opening match.
Here's the pass from Dimmick that was pushed in the tackle, trying to get Brasher actually away. Newlove comes up with the ball. He's just focused on getting to that try line. The tackle comes across and manages to break through and score.
Oh, and that was dumping Carl Harrison down. Dean Pay got away with that. The touch judge just spotted it.
Wounded players down here on the bench. Australia's Paul Harrigan has been checked out for a fractured left cheekbone and concussion as well. No verdict on him, and England's Phil Clark came off the field with a very deep cut on his left eyebrow. Phil Clark will obviously need some stitches to his left eyebrow, and Andy Platt too is also feeling his left ankle.
And this was a good intervention there by the touch judge, Mr. Don Barrett. There we can see a punch going in there from Dean Pay. England making good use of this ball now. John Bentley. Steve, you're his coach at Halifax. He's done a good job coming in midfield. He's helped out with the forwards.
He has done. You'll find that he's probably touched the ball between 15 and 20 times, and that's about his normal work rate. He's a great competitor, and he's very hard to pull down.
Simon Horton shrugs off a couple of tacklers. Proves dangerous to put down.
With the England assistant coach, Andy Goodway. Time for an answer this time, Andy.
Yeah, we're going all right. We're doing the right things. We're working hard off the ball. We're going up in numbers, we're tackling numbers. They really want to win, so we just got to keep it tight, be safe, and we'll get there.
Thanks, Andy.
Certainly, I think England's tactics paid off. They contained Australia in that opening stages. They made it very, very tense. They made it look boring for 10 or 15 minutes, but it was tactically correct, Joe, what they were doing.
It has, and it's proved the right thing to do. England, Andy Farrell, number 13, has come up with the man of the match and a great display, not only in his kicking, but also his driving runs and his organisation.
Inside the last minute here, so I don't think it will bother England.
Matthew Johns is going off into the blood bin. Wayne Bartram's coming back on to replace him.
Hitler still looking for Australia. Have lost that ball time and time again. Not been timing those runs. Bartram back on the field. Back to Jackson. I think Wayne Jackson a good candidate for a man of the match as well. Just behind Farrell, I would rate him in that pack.
Yes, he's done very, very well. The front of six have led very well. Very, very strong. Defended well when had to do. And played to the game pattern and come up with results.
Lee Jackson sadly leaving English football and joining Newcastle Knights this summer. Robinson, Sean Edwards, Darryl Powell. The crowd looking for a high tackle there against Dimmock. I think I would agree with them. Sean Edwards looking for the drop goal. No. Mr. Cummings right on the spot, and the in-goal judge behind. No drop goal, but well worth the attempt. England have made the start that they wanted in this World Cup. I mentioned early on, Steve, that only 5 of these players had actually played at Wembley. And what I was interested in yesterday afternoon, when players normally visit, Australia didn't come.
No, they didn't. They chose not to come. Terry Hill's made a big break down the outside here.
Terry Hill, he's got space, but a cracking tackle by young Radlinski. That was a try-saver. And another one on Hopewati. The England cover flooding back, but still Australia coming in here to Dimmock. Dimmock puts the ball out. It's back to Menzies, and Menzies is going over. Once again, support play. Australia are not out yet, and it's that man Menzies, try-scorer supreme, puts hope again in those Australian fans. Into injury time. England 20, Australia 14.
You see here, Terry Hill, it was his initial break that got him down here. Now Wayne Bartram has just come back on the field. Jimmy Dimmock runs to the hole, good offload as the ball's going down. Steve Menzies on the spot, backing up to pick up the a sloppy loose ball there, and he scored a try.
Rod Wishart wanting to hurry with this kick. He does, and he gets the 2 points. Into injury time now. English supporters keeping their fingers crossed. Australians urging them on. Just 4 points the difference.
The pass here from Dimmock. The ball comes out, maybe a little bit fortunate when the pass from Dimmock here comes off an Australian hand. But Menzies there on the spot again to get his second try of the game.
A couple of minutes into injury time. We have had some stoppages, of course. England will now be looking to put some tackles in. And there is the hooter. The opening World Cup match is over, and England are the winners. The top 2 seeds, the World Cup favourites, 4-1 on Australia, had been beaten. And England, playing what I would think a tactically superb game, emerged rightfully as the winners.